our new 1 Million Cups is an entrepreneurial program. It is created and sponsored by the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City. They put this together, 12, 13 years ago, 14 years ago. So we already celebrated our 10th anniversary as a Daytona chapter. They have groups like us all over the country, over 100 chapters, that every Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock, get together and do a program like this. And the whole point of the program is to have help entrepreneurs focus in on how they can do a better business, how they can create their business, how they can run their business. So we'll have our presenter today. And after the presentation, we're going to do a walk around with the microphone. If you have a comment, question, idea, suggestion, any way you can help the presenter, raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you, and you can offer up your ideas. So really, this is a friendly, safe space for entrepreneurs to just open up, talk about what their business challenges are, and hopefully we can help them out. It's also sponsored by Volusia County Economic Development. Lou Paris and his group provide us with some grant money to help us pay for this beautiful venue, which is Cinematique, and they're great people here. And we're going to learn more about them today. The calendar is on your table, so make sure that you check out what they have coming up besides the movies and the comedy and the other events that they have going on here. One of the best venues that you can see. If you ever watch 1MC videos on YouTube from other chapters, this place knocks it out of the park.
Yeah,
compared to anybody else. So it's a great opportunity. Let's see, what am I missing here? So every Wednesday, 9 o'clock, we'll be here for 1 hour. We cut it out. That's about it, right?
New people?
Oh, thank you. Anyone new today? First time visitors here. In the back. Cool. Stand up. Tell us your name and what your business is.
My name is Kai Chopper. I'm with Paul Becker, commercial benchmark, with commercial real estate firm, and also go
Ken? I think your name.
Kai.
Oh, okay. Anybody else? Any other new members? Got spotlights I can't see. No, that's it. Great. Welcome. Did you give us some swag?
Yes, I did.
Awesome. You're not new. Who else?
Brennan?
No, I was saying hi.
Oh. All right. Hey, we're going to turn it over here. Our presenter today is actually our hostess, Cinematique. They're going to tell us about what they've got going on here and what their challenges are and how we can help them out. So, Alexa, come on up. It's on live.
I'm already really loud,
Okay, that's okay.
so now I'm going to be louder. Hello, my name is Alexa Sheehan. I moved to Florida about 10 years ago from LA, new business, that sort of thing. And we meet here once a month for Women in Film and Television, Daytona Beach, Oregon, which is how I met Jed. And then one thing led to another, and they brought me on as manager end of December, January. So it's been hitting the ground running for sure. But I love this place forever. It has so much to offer, so I'm really happy to be here talking with you guys and getting some ideas, very important stuff. When I was hired, they actually had a sign in the front that said the best kept secret of Daytona. We need to change that. Really need to change that. Corporate sponsorships, new membership. So really wanted to pick your brains on different ways so that we can get more outreach. Corporate sponsors, anything, because we are 501c3. So it's the membership that keeps our doors open. And a little history about Cinematique. Jeff, if you mind. He's been here longer than I have.
Yes, since Cinematique of Daytona was founded in 1991 as from a society of film lovers that were renting a space from the old theater behind the Fuchsia Mall that took up one screen of their options to bring in foreign, independent, documentary features that would ordinarily be available in the area. So it serves as a way of bringing in cultural enrichment to the community and a way for options that wouldn't otherwise be in Volusia County to be accessible. So we carry on that mission today as a nonprofit, and the space we're in now was eventually settled in around 2010. We finally got a space of our own. We're bouncing around for a little bit, and now we are looking to gain more consistent attendance, membership, and to grow and become even more known as we are. Not so, you know, when you run into people regularly who say that they never knew about us. They've lived here for years, but it's the first time they encountered us. So,
Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that I got, am I allowed to move around?
Yeah.
One of the things that I jumped on was renting the venue, because that made the most sense to me, because we staff it, we get concessions, we've done corporate parties, we've done celebrations of life, we've done all sorts of stuff, but how do you market that? And like we said, so many people have come in and it's like, oh my gosh, I've lived here for 35 years, or I live beachside, I didn't know, what do you show, B-movies? No, we don't show those kinds of movies. So it's brand recognition. Some people have heard of it, they just don't know what it is. So I'm just looking for ideas on how to bring more. You guys all know what I'm talking about. Like what can we do to take that next step? I guess. Am I doing this right?
Yeah. Are you doing it?
Wait, are you done with your
You want to
presentation?
start asking me questions?
Sure. Sorry, this is my first presentation. I feel like Daisy, my first presentation.
Make it interactive.
Okay, do I take?
Right then, here,
Do I Bob Barker it? What else? I mean, you guys are here.
Usually you get about 10 minutes to tell, to talk us about whatever you're gonna do during the presentation. If you wanna go right to the Q&A.
I'm gonna ban them now. Got it all going on today. Well, one other thing, just to point out, if you guys, I can see there are a lot of repeat customers here. We decided to do our spring cleaning. So we painted the box office. I streamlined streamlined the front box office, because when you walk in, you want it to look nice. You want it to be welcoming, you want it all put together. So we cleaned out the front of it, put up that little divider to keep our personal business away from the customers coming in. So that was part one of the glow up. And then this Monday, Lagoon Cookman has their community outreach day. We're getting 5 students. We're gonna steam clean all the carpets, all the chairs. Like we're really trying to take these next steps to shine it up a little bit and be ready. And technically, this is the 35th anniversary of Cinematique this year. So we want to do a gala fundraiser. Do you think people would want to get dressed up, or do people want casual with, you know, like maybe silent auctions or that sort of stuff? So any ideas are welcome. Now I'm
All right. Well,
are you taking notes?
it's recording, don't worry.
Oh, gross.
So, from that brief is fine. I was going to get a brief presentation.
Okay.
From the brief presentation, it seems like your little sign, best unknown secret, best secrets.
That's Pepsi.
So, best secret. So, what do you guys have in place currently, and what do you have in place in the future to make sure that it's not a best kept secret, it's the best known place to come?
We have an Instagram and Facebook account, but that to me is kind of, unless other people are sharing it, we're just dipping the bucket in the same well. We need to find other sources, you know, like other ways to do it. We have the calendars that are all on your table, so we do that monthly, because our movies change monthly. We put them out on the table outside for passersby that they can pick it up and check it out. But beyond that, my big mouth, the board is very outspoken about this place. The membership is passionate and love this place. We just need other people to come in and give us a little more love.
Hi, Lori McMullen with your Daytona Regional Chamber. This is very exciting. Just a few things. Has your board ever, in recent times, had a strategic planning session?
Yeah.
There's about 3 questions.
All right, so just, yes, our past annual meeting, that was one of our focus, was developing a strategic plan for the future. So,
And then I have a past fundraising background, so when I say this about your anniversary, yeah, you don't want to miss that opportunity, but the runway is really short now, so you may want to look at some kind of fundraiser instead because we're in April. So to put a gala together and all that with volunteers might not be doable, it might stress everybody out, but you could do something, a fundraiser. And on that note, it might sound self-serving, but I'm the business development director at the Daytona Regional Chamber, and I know it has to go before the board, but I would suggest rejoining, but in a different way. And I can talk from, as a consumer. I've had many roles, including executive director of the Volusia Literacy Council, with limited staff, limited time. But that helped catapult us forward back in the day. Instead of just joining and getting a listing, we have several centers of influence. One, you get, business after hours, those kinds of things that don't hurt. And they can very well catapult you forward for renting space. There's a lot up underneath that, and your board members could attend selected ones you want to extend your reach. But there's a whole advocacy and economic prosperity arm, and there are committees backed up underneath it. Like,
Is there a cost for that?
yes, there's a cost to join the chamber. There's a nonprofit rate, and we can talk about that, but it's well worth it. When I was with the Literacy Council, we have a workforce and education arm, and it was called something else, but I was on that committee. I was on the governor's task force for literacy, so I mean, it like all tied into what I was doing, not just, doing business after hours and all those things, which are great too for networking. There's more than meets the eye to a membership. So you can find something that makes sense to extend your reach and amplify well beyond the minimal cost to join the chamber.
Thank you.
I was just going to ask who the general target demographic is, who the general customer is, or who you would like to target.
Well, generally the core membership is retiree, local, snowbirds, usually, I guess I don't know how to break down exactly in terms of the demographic qualities that they have in common, but usually that's the sort of senior demographic is the main commonality. We do have some younger members and economies, but that's one area we'd like to grow. And so finding the right sort of generational bridge that has programming that doesn't alienate our existing core audience, but can bridge that gap towards younger audiences and finding that balance.
And one of the programs I started, one of the first things I did, is the Cinematique separation of student cinema. And I tried to get all four in Volusia County only. So I ended up joining the Cookman and Daytona State their film program. So I gave them 3 short categories: environmental PSA, short film or music video, something else, but something within their wheelhouse. And the top one of each of those 3 categories from each school will be screening here on May 8th. I'm going to have the board judge, give them trophies, the whole thing. So getting those people in, like programs like that. I've also been bouncing around, but now I know what Jed has to go through to get Star Wars for me on May 4th. I wanted to do a bingo card over the summer. So once a week, there'll be just a day, like a 12, a 3, and a 6 of the first 3 Jurassic Parks, the first 3 Aliens, the first 3 whatever. And if you fill out a bingo card, then you get popcorn or something, just something fun like that to get. It's out of the independent side of things, but I think it would bring in new people. And doing like a manga Monday, like anime, I think that would, they want to see it on the big screen. It is here. Yeah. So those were ideas that I had.
Super cool. Yeah, I didn't have any input. I was just curious.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's call that for everyone.
Hi, Tom. I don't have an excuse for not showing up here. Because I look at your calendar, because I would be a potential customer of yours. I look at the calendar and I look at it, obviously, it's oriented, as Jed said, towards retirees. They've got, I should say nothing to do, but they have their days available. I'm busy, my wife's busy up until 6, 7 o'clock. Here's my problem. I would love to come down here, because I've seen your calendar for Saturdays, for example, and think, that's the day we can come down.
Yeah.
And the challenge we have is we do our stuff during the day, and at some point we decide we're just going to do dinner and Netflix and chill at the house. But coming to a movie theater is so much more fun. It really is. It's a night out. So if you could frame something like dinner and a movie, a date night, to encourage couples on Saturdays to come out. And somehow, Facebook and Instagram are not the places where I'll find that information. So I have to ask ignorantly, do you have a mailing list where I can sign up and you email me?
That's on the website, the bottom of the website.
There you go. So, getting that information out to people like me, I do that. That's something I would do. And I love to do the comment. My brother-in-law, he's been here. He walks in here and he says, "Oh, I saw that movie. That's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's a great movie." I'm like, I never heard of these movies. All right? I probably should. So I'll do dinner and a movie, date night, something like that on a Saturday.
That was one thing I started was dinner and a movie with Little Italy,
Oh, that's right.
which is now gone. So the only other walking distance one, well now Dino's is open, maybe you can approach them.
Ribbon cutting next week. Okay.
But Stavros, I just don't, I don't know. But yes, dinner and movie is a great idea.
So when you're marketing, are we doing any paid marketing or is it
Yeah.
100% organic?
Yeah, traditionally, marketing hasn't been a large part of the budget, so yeah, we have, usually any paid advertising is sort of donation in kind if the board member feels strongly enough about paying for some promotional activity.
Even as a nonprofit, if you're trying to grow your membership base, and probably
Yeah, you gotta
with this,
spend
you probably need
money.
to allocate 10% of your budget to outbound marketing. Also, I'll be right there. Something else I think would be interesting is y'all can do it here. You know, you go see a movie like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and everybody in the audience dresses up.
We're on it.
These nights, you know, you mentioned Star Wars, Jurassic Park, you bring all your kids dressed as dinosaurs or whatever. It could be a cool event for you guys.
Thank you, yes.
Jared Dargish. I'm looking at your calendar, and not to be critical, but you guys, I feel like you guys are a little bit all over the place. Like you have a very wide range of things. Kind of mentioned earlier about the ICP, so your ideal customer profile. I would, if it's the retirees, I would lean, based on what I'm looking at, I would lean into that more. Maybe your weekdays, or maybe for more, you can do more events. Try to fill that out with corporate events. But the weekends and the Friday nights, I would probably potentially target some of those movies. And I think the retired community here would especially appreciate some of the older films that they saw in theaters back when they first came out when they were younger, right? And you know, some of these newer films are great, but am I thinking that's going to get a retiree out of their seat? Maybe are they going to go to the AMC instead? Who knows? But that's what makes you unique, right? You guys have it in the name, boutique, kind of, right? Cinema boutique, right? So I would lean into that. And on the marketing standpoint, mail marketing, like because we're having retirees, I know they rarely check their email. They're usually at home. Send them mail. It is by far the most effective marketing strategy for the older generation, and you could send your calendar to them, and it's not like it's not really that cost intensive, and it is probably one of the better untouched types of marketing. It used to be very popular, but now it's not as popular. With this community and how it is, I would 100% lean into that.
Hi, I'm Angie. I opened Revive Salt Lounge in Daytona Beach Shores, and you got me when you started talking about renting the theater because I'm doing something very similar with the salt room.
And I just was curious how you're marketing that, and then like currently, just because I'm going through almost the exact same thing where it's like I'm not trying to market rent the salt room. I'm marketing here's your unique birthday, here's a memorable experience, here's this, here's that, and so just curious like what you guys are doing, and then I had some ideas for you based on kind of what I'm doing. So like, you know, like corporate teams, like bridal bachelorette movie nights, birthday movie nights. It's your movie night, so they can just rent it and watch whatever they want with whoever they want. You know, maybe private sports watching events or awards nights. I don't know, I haven't checked your site, but I don't know how you're doing it, but maybe individual landing pages for each of these, because I'm working on this same thing right now, like with the anniversary nights, and maybe the bridal bachelorette movie night might include a bottle of champagne, or, you know, like I'm looking for all the details to make it that it's a memorable experience versus, hey, you're gonna rent the salt room or rent the theater, you know, what else we can throw in there.
Thank you. Yes, that's a great point. We can definitely do a lot to expand on rental options of customizing specific types of rental events. And Alexa's done a lot to help take on the challenge of engaging with potential rentals, and that's really great to have her initiative on that. The kind of rentals we've done in the past, birthday parties, beauty pageants, various groups meet to have their presentations, and so we could do more to customize the targeted description of what we can offer, and perhaps with some package deals.
Excellent, love it. Different landing page as opposed to scrolling and being like, oh, I can rent it. We have a wedding reception in June, and it's monthly people with Random Acts of Insanity, which is a comedy troupe that's been here since 2015. They're awesome. But they're getting married, and they wanted to have the reception here, which I think is amazing. And then I got an email last week, our woman called on the phone, and she said, my son loves How to Train Your Dragon. Can you show that? And I said, well, if you're not selling tickets, you can put whatever you want. It's a private event. And she's so excited. So it's it, but how do I get everyone else to know that? Like she called on a whim. She wanted to run the AMC, and it was like $1,200 or something. She's like, you better not think it sure. So I like that.
Yeah, I think,
Technology.
yeah, I think focusing on saying like your private experience, you know, like they're like, I already love this place, it's boutique, it's different, there's nothing like this around here, and focusing on that, I think that would just, you know, dedicating these landing pages, I think I'm doing the exact thing, I'm about to do the exact thing that I'm telling you, so
Well, we should
hopefully it helps.
let me know what works, and I'll let you know what works.
Oh, another thing I was going to tell you is I partnered with some of the kind of boutique, kind of upscale resorts, their bridal department, so that they will funnel people to me for this experience, like if it aligns with them, you know. So there might be other opportunities out there for you with maybe hotels or other businesses aligned that they could funnel people like, oh, I have all these brides coming to me, and you know, you want something, you know, a cool experience, you know, go to Cinematique.
I really like doing sporting events. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm forcing a Super Bowl party here. Just throw it out there. It's up to you. Soccer. You like soccer?
Oh, just to clarify, when you said that the lady called and the Train Your Dragon scenario, she's not charging for tickets, it's a party. But would you consider, like I belonged to a women's group back in the day, we did go to a movie theater, we didn't pay $1,400 though, and watched a movie of our choice, but we charged our own members X amount so we could cover that cost, but make a little bit for our club. So if somebody was doing that, would that be, because you would open up another market? Like
The pitch is we need to get distributor approval to show any theater charging money. So the way you would do that is rent the theater for 2 hours, do your own whatever, but it has to be
Yeah, it would be, I mean, in the case of BPW, which doesn't exist anymore, so it was our own group and prospective members, and it wasn't like open to the public, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah, So we were charging like $25 back in the day. We bought your own food, and then whatever we didn't, it was $250 for the theater, we made money on it to
But
go back to
if
the
it's
city.
within their own group, so could they collect the ticket prices and then just pay us for the rental?
I would consider that if you could, because that could be a market.
I just don't know.
Hey, Laura Murphy here. I want to piggyback on the fact that even though right now you're focusing or your main demographic is the seniors, I think that this is a super hip place, and if you start showing black and white movies, I'm going to tune out. So, I love what you're doing, like the Nirvana, like the hidden gems you find are what we're digging around in our playlist for. And having them up on the big screen is great. So I really appreciate that kind of underground hippie, not hippie. And then, so I just want to say I super support that and keep doing what you're doing. So one day I'll come. I'll come soon. I promise.
Yeah.
Death Row Comedy, let's get it done.
Oh.
Hi guys, nice to see you again, Alexa. So I've got a couple of comments, if I may. So, first thing, I've got a special relationship with this place. Of the 3 movies I produced, 2 of them have actually done runs here. So, I've had the privilege of sneaking in to watch people watching one of my movies, which is a lot of fun when they don't laugh at the places they're supposed to laugh. And I don't put my own. So look, there's a couple of things. I'm going to go forward and then go backwards. I've known this place for a long time. I've never seen an advert for anything here ever. In all my social media, any of my SEO, I've never seen it once. That's a problem. Okay. The second thing is that you're in conflict with yourself when you're promoting this place. You keep talking about it being a non-profit, and this is the unspoken truth about a non-profit. Everybody thinks charity, and they think about, that's what I find when people talk about non-profits, we're supporting something. When I wouldn't do that, what I would do is, I haven't heard you say in this presentation, what are you offering here? What are you offering here? What is it that makes coming here a special and different experience for me? I'm asking you.
No, I'm formulating the response.
Okay.
And it's true.
Yes, thank you, Hugh. That's a good point. The Cinematique was founded as a particular way of bringing in the kind of films that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to see here. So it's kind of a specific cinephile niche that was driven by a passionate core of people who were willing to contribute and be generous in their support for. So, in a certain sense, the idea of driving the nonprofit status of giving to keep it alive, and then having these other revenue streams as ways of keeping that mission going. That is, I guess, finding that balance of being something more than just something for a select specific interest and broadening that appeal. The question was about the articulating that story of who we are and why we're here. I guess is primarily just to provide those things that you can see on the screen that you wouldn't be able to see anywhere else in the family.
Yeah, perfect. So it's a niche experience, and on one level, when I hear you talking about it, and I've been exposed to the sort of the marketing message over the years, is that sometimes there is an attempt to compete with the classic, with the cinemas, and I wouldn't do that. The other thing as well is that, why do I go to the cinema? If I go to I don't know much anymore, but if I go to the cinema, I've usually seen a movie trailer, and it's about the enjoyment of the movie. Now you add so many more things that are on top of that, and I would like, and I've spoken to people who've worked here previously, and I've been around the place, and there's always been this sort of almost like a resistance from the board to do anything that promotes the place. But I think it sounds like you need a dedicated marketing because you're all busy doing, and marketing is always like the red-headed stepchild in a business, when really what it is marketing is one of the two functions that you have to do. You have to innovate, you have to market. Innovation is your product or your service, the marketing is telling the world. Everything, including your ticket sales and everything else, is always downstream of those two things. And what happens is when I hear people talking, this is not the first time I've heard this sort of Cinematique presentation, it always makes me feel a little bit like the last days of Blockbuster. When every time I went in, they've got a new initiative, and a new initiative, and a new initiative, when really what I would advise you to do is to get down to what is your actual core value. Because one of the things you've also said here is about retirees, and you don't want to be in competition and put the retirees out. I just did a quick chat GPT on what the use cases are for here. I come up with 10 different uses, from girls' nights to date nights to cinephiles to corporate events. They all have a different track and they all have a different message. And if you build your business just on retirees, the problem is building a business on retirees is that they die first.
Yeah.
And you've got to build a business that's it's a conveyor belt of younger people coming in. I mean, I'm 57. I don't think I'm not ready to retire, and I'm not going to die. But I don't want to, I don't feel like a retiree. So I want you to be marketing to me for reasons for me to come here. And then the last thing is that marketing's an engine, and you have to get up to the highest gear and then keep going. What happens is with marketing is that people don't do it, then they have a massive effort, and they try to get, and then they don't, and then they can't get traction, and they have to start again and again and again and again. Think about it the way that someone like Pizza Hut markets. They know their market, they market every day, they market at a certain time because they're trying to capture people when they're on the way home and they don't know what to do for dinner. But they keep going, and it's a slow burn, and that's part of the message here that I think is missing. I want to start seeing some movie trailers and some adverts, and then you can upsell the memberships, and you can upsell the stuff once they get to the reception, but you've got to get them in through the door first.
That's a good point, and to go back to some of the other questions, once you're a member, we do have member movie night, or was it Sundays, and it is films from 1932 to 1976, and that's free for members, because when you get your membership, you get a discounted ticket. You also get some free, whatever, free popcorn and some passes to get out, trying to get the new people in, but we do try and cater to the core of our membership with things like that. But like you said, taking the next step forward and getting it out to the marketing.
It's not just marketing.
One thing he mentioned, it's talking about the nonprofit status. A lot of people do get that confused. Nonprofit does not mean you're not extremely profitable, right? It's a tax status. It's nothing other than that. So when you're developing this plan, you should almost forget that you're a nonprofit, because it has nothing to do with how profitable you should be, and start running it like it is a for-profit business. And at the end of the year, you take care of your taxes you have to take care of, right? But it's strictly a tax status. It has nothing to do with that we can't be extremely profitable. And a lot of people get that confused. A lot of people do.
Hi, Alexa. Hi, Jed. So I just want to piggyback on what Heath is saying. I love Cinematique. I was on the board for almost a year, and I know how much resistance I faced with the board. And the challenge is, it's not just marketing, it is the business strategy, because 60 to 70% of the funds allocated for Cinematique go straight to distribution, rights of the movie and film. And there isn't any funding for Cinematique to go after all these marketing cool events. And you guys have the Summer Kids program, you guys have a lot of cool stuff. It's not the lack of marketing, it's the allocation of the budget. So if you're, and I was a red-headed stepchild, I was pushing just kind of hey, are we able to allocate some funds so that we can create all these cool stuff? And the answer is always no, because again, the 70% of the budget goes to the films. And the films, they don't make profit. And then the resistance comes, but we are a cinema. So I think the challenge is that you are the only cinema art house in Daytona. And that has been established. But you can be other things too outside the cinema world of showing films at 2 p.m. You can do a lot of those cool stuff, and it's not the lack of ideas, because
the board is so dynamic. I love every one of them. And I have suggested many times to bring in the Daytona State Colleges, the student folks. I know you guys just started doing that. And it's targeting the cinephile. You need to create for that group, and then again, a business strategist would really help look at the funds that you have. Allocate some funds for this for showing the art cinema, like the Oscar movies. I know that you're seeing it's such a cool thing, but no one hears about it because no one knew about it. That you guys have an Oscar week. They're not being shown at CMX. I just want I felt like there's a push and pull. There's a lot of creative stuff that the board wants but cannot do because again the budget doesn't allow it for. So and then you guys you can funnel in, well, we can increase our subscription, but there's how? A business strategist, go to maybe a SCORE mentor, to look at how the funding is distributed, and a strong operational would just say, in just terms of budget and everything, and so that it allows for all those marketing and events to flow through. And the private events will come. It will come, I promise you, but it's just like, the money goes straight to the film, 60 to 7, and then there's really absolutely zero money left for anything and everything creative.
That's why I was pushing the rentals, because it's chunks instead of a movie ticket, it's
Right.
chunks. That's the only way we're able to redo box office, is a chunk. So we're doing, baby steps on just,
Yeah.
it's tough, and
It is
it is,
tough.
I don't
So,
think
but we have to
people
raise
understand.
money. I think the money has to be raised. So a good, strong fundraiser needs to happen.
I actually attended a SCORE event a month ago on, how to manage a nonprofit. I'm like, well, that's the job now. So everybody get in there. Thank you, SCORE. Yeah, it's people. I don't think people understand that any movie that we have
Yep.
is a week, 2 weeks, a month.
But it doesn't make profit,
Talking
though.
with distributors,
Yeah.
paying these fees. Like
Mhm.
we have to pay a fee to show a film. It's not like they can show a film. And that is where the bulk of money goes. So we're trying to find these next steps.
Edith Bush Foundation at Rollins College is a good
I don't know it.
Go check it out, they have some great training for nonprofits.
Thank you.
Do some auction or whatever. Just strong fundraising. That's your next step before doing all these fun stuff.
Hi.
Pledges.
And I have the luau down the road. And I have a lot of the same problems. A lot of the same issues is that I find advertising to tourists is very easy. They're looking for stuff to do. But I put thousands of dollars a month towards paid advertising to locals, and it doesn't come back. I don't know why. The only thing that's been successful for me is the internet. And because we do have these like little pop-up bars, and I have younger people, kids, and they just get online, and there is paid advertising online, but they just like comment on other people's stuff, and it's amazing how much we get just by them being online, and when they comment, the person will see that, and they're like, oh, what's that, and I click on it, and it's not free, because you gotta pay some kid to do it.
But where is that? What are they looking at to get that clip?
Just anything related to what you're doing, and they just, like, my people, for my pop-up Christmas bar, anything Christmas related in town, they'll just comment on it. And if they find a popular thing with hundreds of responses, they just comment on it, and like those people will click on that just because it's related. We've had luck with that, and it's cheap. It's advertising can be very expensive. We do TV, we do radio, and that's all very expensive. And what you get in return is sorry for the radio.
I was getting Terry pretty good.
But that's very helpful. Another thing that's good for me is how many people do you fit here?
At 67, 67.
One thing that works for me, have you ever approached like the villages and places like that? They have activity directors. Like we have a bus a month that comes from the villages. They bring 50 people, it's a little buses. And they're looking for things to do. Yeah, and they're like, we have a location in Kissimmee, and sometimes they don't even wanna go to Kissimmee because it's too close. They want to come here because I guess they have to do their job, otherwise they're out of a job, right? But they're looking for things to bring their people to a busload at a time, so, that's one sale, 50 people, that's fantastic. So, yeah, any like, fundraiser you get into, like, I was looking at your fundraising, I wasn't aware of like the yearly thing. And there's probably a lot of people like me, I would give $80 a year just to support you guys.
Nice.
There's probably a lot of people in the community like that. So try to get that out, just to support the arts, because nobody wants to go away. So, that's about it.
Thank you. I'm coming around, but guys, we're approaching a wall here in a second, so just be a few more questions, and then we'll have to hit our deadline.
Yeah, so I used to live in St. Pete, and there was a cinema there called Green Light Cinema there. Very similar model, boutique. And, I'm looking at, and Val mentioned about the budget, about the films. So things like, I know Sinners and One Battle, I mean, those are blockbuster movies. I would probably go away from movies like that if I was in your spot. No, you guys just do this as advice, but because you can see those movies at the AMC, right? You guys are specifically niche to being things that you're not going to see at the traditional movie theater. So I would potentially open it to looking at more, I guess, foreign films, and right, like we guys kind of talked about, right? What's the purpose of this in the first place? And more of these films that are not going to get played. And funny enough, this Greenlight Cinema, there's people that went there, and St. Pete's a little bit younger audience, but that like those boutique films, the foreign films, those things that aren't going to get shown. And I'm sure the rights are much more affordable for you guys as well. So I would potentially look at that direction, and I don't think it'll lower your audience. I think you'll potentially find a more loyal audience, and then expand to membership. And to back off what Jason said, yeah, there's places like my grandmother used to live at the Blake, and like these retirement, it's just a living facility. I mean, they look for activities all the time. I think something where you guys are showing, I guess, more of an older time movie, but where they all come down, they have a bus, obviously, for activities. They're looking for stuff to fill their calendar. Once a week, they come down and come to the movie theater. There's probably about 60 or 70 retirees in that building alone. I mean, that's great. It's a film-packed movie theater for you guys, and you're filling up one of your nights. So I would also potentially look to partnership.
That's, I love the idea of I'm just thinking that's gonna be my one thing. So.
Funny enough, my wife is the director of outreach at the Blake. I'll get you done.
Just to point this out,
Yeah,
the programming committee is genius because they had to book all these films that ended up winning all the Oscars months in advance. So they looked at these films, go after the edition. We didn't know. They said these are going to be great films. Our audience is going to love them, and then they all won a bunch of Oscars. So that's why this week we got a bunch of Oscar winners.
Yes.
They just wanted great films in here, and they got them. So took this hat to the programming committee, but that's kind of. It's months in advance to get these things.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I'm just curious because I don't know if that's like is the Oscars that your niche? Is that like because I don't know. I'm guessing you're spending more on rights for those films to show those films versus you're more boutique. So yeah, I guess that's my question.
Yeah, it kind of varies. It's a fine balance of finding things that sometimes you think, oh, this film's been shown in the other theaters in the area. Is going to show up for here and it'll do really well, and so but sometimes it's played out already and the audience that have seen it already perhaps won't get as many. But yeah, I guess trying to find the films that a sweet spot of having enough interest and demand but yet not being overexposed in the other places you can see.
Yeah, and like I know there's Greenlight Cinema, and that's a different, St. Pete's very artsy kind of thing, so it's and maybe a different audience. But I would potentially look at, maybe there's something in the villages or something that's similar to your business model. Call that, reach out to them, and ask them what's working and what's not. Because if you find some place that has a similar target audience to you or demographic makeup to you,
it's probably the best. You know, you guys aren't competing against each other. It's not like you have to worry about that. So I would potentially be looking at those for inspiration.
It's funny you said that we screened a movie called Captain Jack and his rocket powered go-kart. It was genius. Not a lot of people showed up. They had their world premieres in Winter Park. Then I happened to do the film that year, so we did a 3-day run here with the producer and director here, which was awesome. Then they went to the villages and sold out every single screening. But we have like a Florida-made film called Paper Bear, which is family friendly for kids. But they reached out to us and said, we want to do a screening in Daytona. Is that something you do? And I swooped them up, had them on the back, said, you bet, let's do this. So we have a 3-day run of that at the end of the month. The director's coming in on the Saturday screening, but it's like a 2 o'clock, a 4 o'clock, and a 2 o'clock because it's kid focused. Our target audience probably won't want to come, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and maybe the one in the villages, maybe that's marketing. Maybe they just have those connections within those
And they
communities.
were building steam, so we got her early, and I'm super stoked, but she was so happy with this venue, and she said, keep the DCP and show it whenever you want. I'm like, thank you. So we may do a run on once it goes big. Paper Bear is going to be on Apple and something else. They're about to go to distribution. So we were able to sneak in and grab them and have a little bit of screening for that. And it's also a conservation piece. But I love it all.
Thank you.
I had a quick suggestion when he mentioned the bus loads of people. I don't know if you've looked into Margaritaville and partnering with them because you can become a passport partner with them. So you can go to Margaritaville one day, do like a morning coffee and conversation, let people know who you are, what you do, why they want to come here, you know, showcase the rentals, you know, in a presentation. You gotta bring your coffee, you gotta bring your donuts, but you do that, and then you can become a passport partner. And passport partners typically like offer like 10% off with your Margaritaville, you know, ID or whatever. And I've done that, and believe it or not, people will drive from Margaritaville, you know, all the way over to the bridge where I'm at into Daytona Beach Shores. But once you get in with the Margaritaville peeps, they write one thing on Facebook, and then everybody knows who you are and where you are, because it's like, you know,
Jim's List.
yeah,
Jim's
it's like a
List.
little, like, you know, really good following, but just another suggestion to kind of who you can partner with to kind of get your name out there. And if you get an event with them, you know, if somebody does an event, they'll write about it.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, I will say this, kind of recap a couple things. I think you guys heard over and over, marketing. You gotta figure out how to do that. Geofence, man. Take these senior communities and geofence those in. You can do online marketing so cheap. I agree, seniors still look at paper, but paper's expensive. And if you have a limited budget, it's hard to do that because of print costs, or distribution costs, everything. But I gotta tell you, I go to the senior community all the time. They are sitting there on iPads all day long, and all they're doing is Facebook. Geofence those people in, target your media, and so.
I have one quick question. Has anyone ever found value in the Valpaks that come?
Yeah, they come in an envelope,
Yeah.
coupons in there. Yeah.
I slip through.
Yeah, yeah.
Somewhere there's $100 check and one to me.
Yeah.
But has anyone found success using the Valpak or anything like that?
No, I found a lawsuit in there. So my wife signed up with a mold mitigation company out of the Valpak and wound up in a lawsuit. A lien on my house, they never fixed the whole after the hurricane. So you got to watch out. You know, I mean, as far as from the consumer's perspective, but as far as advertising for you, that might be. I mean, we're not talking mold mitigation here. You know, we're talking entertainment and a place to go have fun. Okay, it's not that deep, right? So I mean, I know I open them. My wife opens them.
Well, I reached out to.
I don't know what the cost is for
East
that.
Coast Current, Daytona News Journal, like, I reached out to all of them. East Coast Current big comments, I'd love to talk to you about it, but I want to watch Sinners too.
Right,
Do that,
right.
and I'll get you a popcorn, no problem. So I'm trying to.
Yeah. Just, if I could just have a quick minute, 'cause I know we're winding down, but what's your break-even analysis on these shows? You mentioned, you know, your licensing costs for an Oscar movie. Are you making money on that night? And I don't want to get in the weeds. Just quick yes or no.
Just quickly, yeah, usually a film distributor will offer a film for a minimum of a flat fee or a percentage.
Okay. Okay. And as an alternative, if I want to rent space, usually when people want to rent space, it's on a Friday, Saturday evening. I'd be competing with these scheduled movie nights. So how would you handle that? Would you put it on a calendar way in advance and not have this night?
We have a master calendar.
Okay.
And like our,
Okay.
the 90 days in office that coming.
Gotcha.
Comedian
Okay.
came and said, I want these 2 days in February.
So if I had a corporate event in 3-4 months, it would supersede this movie
100%,
thing.
yep.
And would you make more money at that corporate event than the movie event? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So that's what I'm thinking.
But we do need, it has to be.
Those are my thoughts.
Schedule. Once the
Okay.
schedule's printed, we can't
Yeah.
all of a sudden call him.
No, I
in
understand.
because We're a big party for opportunity.
So the final question that's going to be thrown at you, and get them from times. What can the 1 million cost community do for you?
Besides spreading the word and find corporate sponsor. You guys have been so helpful, no million cups, it's just having these spaces, learn about us, see the venue, that's priceless for me. And I wish I had my notebook, because it'd be 2 pages of notes. It's here, not there, right?
Yes, if you go to our website, you can sign up for our newsletter there. And there's also our link to our Facebook and Instagram. You can subscribe there and share things if you see something we're promoting that is something your friend group would be interested in. Pass that along, we'd appreciate it. Yes, become a member. There's membership details on there, and you can support us that way. As I say, we're free, so donations are welcome.
But just, I mean, even if you're not a member, do you go to the website, scroll down to the bottom, get on the mailing list, because something might pop up. And we get the girls together, you know?
I'm going to go back to it. You guys need to lean into your social media branding. You need to lean into getting more likes, pay photos. Get those out there, because it's very cheap to do. It's extremely cheap. And then once you have those likes, push. As soon as you get people to like what you're pushing, all their friends see it. And all their friends see it. It's a good comment on it. All their friends see it. Drive your social media. Thank you so much, guys.